But what we need to talk about right now is how do we go forward with this? Now, we can say we've had a great night and we've played with this and we can do some offline playing with the model and you can build your own whatever you want to do. Or we can begin to carry this on for the rest of the year. So I'd like to suggest that we continue meeting at Denny's, and talk through some of this, but we need to figure out how are we going to manage this and run it over the rest of the course of the year. So we need some volunteers. I mean, essentially I've laid out a plan that says we'll spend about 15 minutes next meeting just kind of touching it. We'll need to meet outside either tonight or some other time between now and then and come up to a viable solution, that we want to find. It's a real plan, and try to come up with potentially a first trade, or we launch the first trade next month. But we need people that are going to staff that and begin to make that happen. So is this sufficiently interesting and useful enough for us to go do that? Because I know how to do this, and it's what I do all the time. It's only a good thing if you participate and then you own it, and we'll as a group we will develop a set of tools and answers to come up with a set of things at the end of the year. So it's a contribution idea. Or it's another one of my failed ideas that in order to get participation.
Let's do it.
Okay, so who are the volunteers?
Is this every month?
We're going to run. We want to make the trades every month, and we want to talk about. And we want to talk about quarterly. Launching a new trade. We'll need to build some trading plans, some manufacturing plans. We need to do some back testing to see if the rules that we come up with are actually reasonable.
But what entity did you have in mind trading?
The one that you want to trade. I mean, I would.
You're making it too tough with a group like this. Just pick something, the rot or what? Because you've
I'm making multiple choice. We can do. I would suggest we do the SPY. That would be for an income strategy. I would tend to want to trade that because that's relatively small. We know that we can give the money management to that one. The run is a bigger index, like the SVOG, but it could be any ETF. I would suggest that we don't have to choose the second ETF or the second directional item tonight, because if we're going to launch the one, I would suggest, my recommendation would be to do condors, basically basic condors on the SPY. It's simple, it's kind of on a monthly boundary. We can quickly define a set of rules and that everyone can look at, and we can go back and validate that set of rules over a period of time. That's how I normally do it myself, but that would be one to launch, but it could be anything because that's where I'm at. So do you want to do the SPY and you want to do basically condors? I mean, it's basically a think or swim type of strategy.
Well, something simpler. Condors are commission heavy. Typically you're buying 4.
Therefore,
Well, I mean, especially for some of the people who buy calls or puts are more directional, but they're a lot less to start commission-wise. You're buying 1 versus 4.
well, that's a directional strategy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do all out of IBD, and that's working for me. I've never bought a condor, never wanted to. Straddles, spreads, I just keep it simple.
I know it's,
Keep it simple. To start.
we had one volunteer that was gonna allow us to do his Ikimuku strategy.
What's that?
It's a very good strategy.
But he doesn't have one every month, does he?
But that, it's a little more complex to take. We wouldn't be able to launch that one tonight. It's one of you make the call. 30 seconds.
Or maybe one of each?
Well, that's too many for us to track. So if you just want to do, we have enough money in the account to be able to do the commissions. We will learn that. We'll make an assumption on commission costs of $1.50 a commission.
Then we should go on and do the spot.
I mean, most people can get that commission out of Thinkorswim. I think we'll make an assumption it's $1.50 a contract. We can afford those. It does make it a little more expensive, but it's a good strategy because you're playing both sides. And I think it's a good one for a long term. But it may not work. But it doesn't have to work. We're about the process. You know, it's really about the process. You could do a different one. And it's just a group one that we can talk about. Okay.
That's any plays are hard to adjust, they're, you know.
I would propose that we put the trades on and we don't adjust them.
Beginners.
I don't think we set a rule, you can place it on auto so that the trade will exit at the right spot. And if you put the right risk rewards, you don't really have to do a lot of adjustment.
It depends on our manufacturing plan.
It depends exactly on that.
If the manufacturing plan says make an adjustment, we make an adjustment.
Absolutely. We have to come up with a little bit of a plan of how we want to do that. And the plan doesn't have to be right. We need to go back and validate the plan, and we'll adjust that. But like most trading, the idea is, reality is, you usually just do a trade. I mean, we usually start without the rest of the work. And that's how most of us started. Not a good way to start, but it's the way most of us started. So we could do a quick trade. I didn't actually connect to the internet, and we probably don't have time to do it right now, but we could quickly put on a condor close to the 1 sigma. The short's close to the 1 sigma. The longs 2 strikes out. We'll collect 85 cents, 85 to 90 cents for them. And those typically work. We adjust for the volatility by letting it price where the short is. It's not exactly 1 sigma out. It's actually priced by where you bring in about 85 cents for the 2 sides. Because if you bring in $1, you usually lose those trades. Because the market usually knows something you don't. But about 85 to 90 cents works out. That's about 0.9.
So if
Or the
our
risk
friend
reward.
up front here does a directional trade with just simple calls or puts, do you have a strategy that you use?
Do I?
Yeah, do you want to provide some input
Yeah.
and Denny's with us?
I buy every 1st and the 15th of every month, by calls mostly. Bought Tesla at 104, went to 190
Well, can you provide us with a set of
in May.
guidelines that we could trade? Well, if you're willing to publish
Out of
them.
the IBD. IBD is what I've been using exclusively. Just, it works for me. I look for patterns in the paper more than the stock itself. It's just the way I've been doing it, been doing it for years. Started to come down there and see what you got going here. This is my first time here. Condors, I think, are very, you got 4 legs, 4 commissions. You can buy and sell, get the prices down a little bit. They are more confusing for a beginner. I think maybe you might say that, or agree to that. I've never done, my calls, I've got what's going up, directional. Things gonna go up, I buy the call. Coming down, I buy the put. The last 70 trades, I've got 4 losers. I'll show you what I do. I'm here to just kind of listen in, and I'd like to speak to you all someday, you know, if it works. I was gonna give you a letter on that, and I'll show you my last dozen trades. EOG, LYB, Tesla, EPAM, MDSO, FLT, all out of IBD, and they're momentum trades, but we find them in the paper. And
Okay.
we do options on them, so the profits are higher.
Okay. We have to make
See what
some,
you're thinking.
we have to make some, we're rapidly running out of time, we've got 10 minutes left.
If the intent is to keep it simple, to me, starting with an iron condor, most people will not understand what an iron condor is. If you want to do it simple, you start with a directional, call or put.
Fine, done?
That would
So,
be my
fine, done,
recommendation.
no more discussion. Who's gonna give me the strategy?
Well, we got a gentleman who has a successful strategy already.
Are you gonna come, can you come in, we can close that at Denny's tonight? Can we do that at Denny's tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can talk about it.
Mary Ann, you had a comment?
No, I just like the SVOG contour, because with this group generally, we're discussing more complex option strategies, and we're talking.
I can't.
I said generally, this group talks about more complex option strategies, so I like the idea of a SVOG condor.
Well, that's one part of the point.
Okay, all we're talking, we'll launch one of each.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of which one we launch first.
Just go with the condor, you got it, that's not that hard.
Okay.
Well, nobody's
But
gonna really
talk,
do it anyway.
let's still define the rules so we can launch that one.
It's a frickin'
What was that about?
American trade, for God's sake.
I'm sorry?
It's a paper trade anyway, what's the big deal?
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's perfect timing for a condor for the February expiration, it's 42 days or something.
Okay.
It doesn't preclude you from doing whatever you want.
Yeah,
We're setting up a.
this is only for, this is not trade. We're gonna track to see if we can come up with the guidelines. So part of this is learning curve. So if you don't know it, by the end of, as we continue to do this, you'll know how to do those slightly later in time. These are, you should not trade these. You know, we'd like them to look like real trades, but it's really for the tracking and the running and the validating of the process. Okay, so how do we manage distributing the information? Joe, we talked last time about, normally we would put this on the SVOG website, but we don't have that really operational to the degree that we'd like to have that. So there are two things that we want to be able to do. We want to be able to post the information of, you know, here's what's going on, and a place where you can go to get the status in between meetings to see what's transpired, and a place that if anybody develops any tools to help track this, you know, we modify the spreadsheets and we do that, then we can put these, you know, tools so everybody can take advantage of what the group generates as a total. So we're all contributing to the common goal. I think that helps everybody's trading over the year.
Yes. I'll be happy to put up a separate page for SVOG where you can get access to the videos, you can get access to the presentation, access to the spreadsheets, whatever you want. That sounds good.
Yes.
Can we work those details out?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Or close to it? Okay, yes.
CBOE has an excellent talk about what you're trying to do here. with the SPX with Marty Kearney, so I highly suggest you go look for that.
If someone finds that link and gives it to me, I'll put it on my website, so all you have to do is click on that
Okay,
tab.
I'll get it to you.
Was that CBOE you said?
Yeah, CBOE,
And do you remember what the title of that is, or what it's, is it about condors or that, or is it about business plans?
no, it's creating the SPX, just like you're talking.
As a condor?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to be sure that we're, so what Jerome has said is it's about trading condors. There are lots of stuff out in the CBOE and the OIC sites about these trades, but it's not, we're going to develop, what we think is going to work, and it doesn't have to work in the beginning. This is about learning how to do this and improving everyone that knows how to do it skill-based, so that we can talk about these things in the meetings and to each other. Because we want to get more participation. And you guys are doing great, but you should beat me up more on this. There was no intention for this all to be right, and that's the reason it wasn't right. So we'll go play with the assumption set and come up with a new set of numbers. So how many would like to go to Denny's at all? Okay. Jerome is buying, we're gonna use his credit card.
Okay, not his credit card.
No, just kidding.
How long are we
Just-
talking at Denny's?
How long at Denny's?
Yeah.
Till your tolerance wears out.
Very fast.
So it's a cup of coffee or something. What? Denny's does have Wi-Fi. I've never taken my laptop in. We don't actually have, we probably have to have Wi-Fi if we were to mock up a quick trade. But I think and then, or do you want to set a time for another meeting at another time? Like after work at a Panera Bread or someplace else. It doesn't have to be Denny's after this meeting. Now, Rob and I will go there anyway and have coffee, and some of us can go talk. But we can set any other time. I just merely set that as a close time. But we can make another time at another restaurant, because it's not the massive audience.
No, it's a good time. We're already all here. Perfect time.
Yeah. That's a good jumping off point.
Or we could do those, have pre-meetings. We could maybe even get in here early, but we haven't been paying for that. So that goes back to our budget problems. But, okay. Is any of this going in the direction you want to be going? Or because I really want to give you a way to say, let's not do this, because it makes my life easier.
To me, I find it beneficial because I think most people have never thought of investing from this perspective, and that is starting with the business concept, looking at all the factors that go into creating the business, and looking at how much profit do I need in order to make this a success. Most of us look at, how much can I make just trading without even thinking of all the additional expenses. So to me, it's an excellent tool to give us a perspective that most of us have not considered.
People look at their, go ahead.
I'm finished.
People look at their trading much differently after seeing this presentation.
And you've seen pieces of it before.
It doesn't mean they're gonna change their habits.
Well, I gave this presentation the first time in 2005. I mean, it's not exactly the same presentation. It has a lot more charts. Okay. So we didn't get anywhere near to where I wanted to get, and I thought we could do that faster. But the dialogue of going through that I thought was constructive from my point of view. We will come up and continue to refine that assumption set. We'll come up with an assumption set tonight that gives us a little more positive aspect, and we'll continue to develop it.
Sounds good.
And if we can, and I'm fully, even though we may not launch the directional trade, the IB directional trade strategy, I would like to take that, can we just assume that that's going to be our directional strategy?
Sure.
And we'll launch that in 3 months. But in the meantime, we can develop all the rules and get those established ahead of time. We could even launch earlier. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. The plan is flexible. And what I hope you do is kind of take the concept, think about your own business, how you would take the same kind of view and see how you fit. Maybe you already have most of these assumptions or different things that you're doing, and see how that rolls in. All I'm doing is giving you the structure with which to view that. Well, let me thank you, and it'll take me a few minutes to fold this up, and we'll go to Denny's.
Okay, how about us thanking you?